Hi, I'm Sophie Lou. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I've been wanting to post a video for a while, specifically about endometriosis and what it is. I've been living with endometriosis, now that I look back, the symptoms that I was experiencing, probably about 5 years symptomatically. I've been experiencing symptoms. It's a very awkward way to say that. And up until 2 years ago, I had no idea what it was that I was looking at. There was no information out there. My doctor didn't really give me information. I would go and I would complain about these symptoms that we're going to talk about. And there's just no information. There's no awareness about this. And I want to give you some statistics. Let's start by saying I am not a doctor. I'm just going to get that out of the way. I'm not a doctor. I'm not in the medical field. I'm just somebody, an average girl who did not get enough information from her doctor, and I've done research on my own. Now, my doctors have not discussed really in depth anything. I got a pamphlet from my OBGYN explaining what it was, and I was kind of sent on my way. And a wait and see kind of approach, like, we'll wait and see if it comes back, which it did. Surprise! But we're not going to really talk about my story specifically. I want to talk about it kind of in general as a whole, and then give you a perspective of maybe this is the clinical diagnosis, but here's what it's actually like living with it. Both pre-surgery and post-surgery. Right now I'm post-surgery. Post-surgery number 2, the first surgery being maybe counting, maybe not. They thought I had an umbilical hernia, didn't. They took whatever was out in my belly button. They removed the belly button in a dramatic, overkill fashion. And they stitched me up. They did a biopsy of the tissue they found, and they said, oh, you have endometriosis. Okay, I don't know what that means. I didn't get any information. And the last 2 years I have spent and then last year I had another surgery. Last October I had surgery number 2 because surgery number 1 did not remove it completely. So I had an excision surgery. Which is the only way to really cut it out at the root. We'll talk about that a little bit under treatment options, of which there are no treatment options. The treatment is to have the surgery and remove it. There are clinical treatments that they recommend, but from the point of view of someone who actually is living with this, I do not recommend the clinical treatments. Other than the surgery is the only thing that helped me. But I want to start out with some statistics. Considering how little is known about this disease, a surprising 1 in 10 women have endometriosis. So if you know 10 women and none of them have endometriosis, chances are they just don't know they have it yet. Also, what does it say here? An estimated 7.5 million American women are affected by endometriosis, and 176 million women worldwide, which is approximately 1 in 10. Endometriosis is one of the, get this, endometriosis is one of the most excruciating pains humans can experience. That is right. One of the most excruciating pains. That is why we call ourselves endometriosis warriors, which is another statistic, and this is from endostats.com. Kind of an interesting statistics. I like weird, interesting things like this. It says that women with endometriosis define themselves as endo warriors because they have to fight against excruciating pain and sometimes family, friends, and also doctors' distrust of their symptoms for years. which is why the doctors just trust of symptoms. They don't believe you. It's all in your head. These are all things that women get told, which end up in a 7 to 10 year delay in diagnosis. Also, the only way to diagnose endometriosis is through surgery, through a biopsy of the tissue, like I had the first time when they thought I had a umbilical hernia. That is the only way to diagnose it. You can't do imaging because endometriosis, let's talk about it. Endometriosis is when the tissue that makes up the uterine lining, the lining in your uterus, it's called endometrial tissue, it starts to grow outside of the uterus, inside your abdominal cavity. And it can be found anywhere. It can be found in the lower abdomen, the pelvis. It can anywhere. It attaches to your, it can attach to your bladder. It can attach to your fallopian tubes. It can attach to your uterus. It can attach anywhere. And in my case, it was my belly button. The lining of my stomach wall. It was attached to my belly button and popping out through my belly button. I guess I should have said, if you're grossed out by medical things, this is not the video for you. And if you have endometriosis, which is, I'm assuming, why you're here to learn more, you're going to have to get over your squeamishness, because some ugly shit's going to go down. Just get over it. Rip off the Band-Aid and get used to it, because this is not a pretty disease. It's ugly and it's painful. One of the most excruciating pains a human can feel. And you thought childbirth was bad. This is supposed to be more painful than childbirth. Don't know personally, don't have kids. That's right, I am 34 and I do not have children. Honestly, I don't know if I want children. Another video topic, kind of, maybe. But I'm just scrolling this definition that I had is also from obgyn.ucla.edu. This is the clinical diagnosis part, right? It says women with endometriosis often have lower abdominal pain. That's putting it very mildly. Pain with periods, also an understatement, or pain with sexual intercourse. Oh, there is no sexual intercourse. When you are having a flare, when you are in the middle of having, like, pre-surgery, right? Let's talk about pre-surgery. There is no intercourse. Forget about it. Bye. Not only are you not feeling interested sexually, but it's gone. You're in so much pain. Just getting through the day is a task in itself. And there's also a statistic on that. It says 82% of women are at times unable to carry out day-to-day activities due to endometriosis. Day-to-day activities, like getting out of bed. I'm not even in the middle of a flare, right? I would consider today to be a good day. Today is not too bad. I'm actually feeling much better, but here's when the real life perspective comes in. I'm post-surgery, so let's talk about post-surgery. I've had an excision surgery. My doctor was very good. He describes endometriosis as like acne. You can't get rid of it. You have to go in and you have to do an excision and you have to remove the endometriosis at the root. For me, it was attached all over my ovary. He had to remove parts of both of my ovaries just to, like, remove all of it. He said I should still be able to have kids if I want, but I don't know. I'm not really thinking about that. But I want to talk about this morning, because this morning was, I feel like, an average day. So here's where kind of the yucky part comes in. I spent almost on and off a whole hour going to the bathroom because my stomach hurt so bad. And I attribute this to partly in diet. I want to talk about diet kind of in another video, but it's very important to eat the right foods because it can help a lot. I'm of the mindset that food is medicine, and endometriosis is an inflammatory disease. When you have a flare, it can be caused, well, let's go back to the clinical definition. The causes of endometriosis, right? Let's hear what these doctors have to say. There are several different ideas. Get that? Ideas. They're only hypotheses. They don't know what causes endometriosis. Let's just say that. Let's get that out of the way. Doctors and scientists have no idea what causes it. They don't know. They're really only guessing. So here's some of their ideas as to why endometriosis happens. One idea is that when a woman has her period, some of the blood and tissue from the uterus travels out, up, through the fallopian tubes, and into the abdominal cavity. So if you know what it looks like here's the, and then here's the fallopian tubes, and they kind of go out like this, and they have little fingers like this. So they think that the blood travels up through the uterus, out this way, and out through the fallopian tubes, and then it comes out and it attaches to the abdominal wall, right? This is something called retrograde. Let me look at the exact wording that they have. It's called retrograde menstruation. That's one idea. Another idea is that some cells in the body outside of the uterus can change to become the same kind of cells that line the uterus. This is a common explanation for endometriosis. I actually haven't heard this one. At unusual sites like the thumb or the knee. Another possible explanation is the cells from the lining of the uterus travel through the blood vessels or through the lymphatic system to reach other organs or body areas. Also, what's causing your body to do this? Is it a hormone imbalance? What is it? What? Research? Can we get an explanation as to why your body is morphing and changing cells when it's not supposed to? There's no explanation for that part. Also, endometriosis can spread at the time of surgery, not if you have a good surgeon. I had an excellent surgeon. He's amazing. For example, a woman with endometriosis that undergoes a cesarean section could inadvertently have some endometriosis cells attached to the abdominal incision so that she has endometriosis in the scar from the surgery. I don't know personally about that. I've never had one of those. But if you have a good doctor, that should not happen. It says, interestingly, nearly all women have some degree of retrograde menstruation, but only a few women will get endometriosis. This may be due to differences in a woman's immune system. Also, endometriosis is much more common if a close relative also has it. So there may be genes that influence endometriosis. Interesting that they end on that, because on Instagram, and if you go and follow me on Instagram, my Instagram, I'll try to leave it in the description box below. My computer cannot hold a video editing software, so I'm trying to make more money to save up for that. So this video will not be edited in any way. Sorry if it's kind of boring. But you can follow me on my Instagram. Is Sophie_Lou_blogs. And there was an interesting post that I saw the other day, actually quite a few days ago. Okay, it was about a week ago. And it was it was posted from I think I shared it on my Instagram. From someone named David Redwine. And he says the genetically based cause of endometriosis is melanocytic mesoderm. I hope I didn't butcher that, which is laid down in patterns during gastrulation during embryogenesis. Those are some big words. I can't make it much simpler or clearer than that. So my take on this is that if you have endometriosis, those genes are laid out during your embryo, genesis stage where you're being developed as an embryo. The very basis and genetic makeup and DNA of who you are is what decides if you get this or not. Maybe some kind of, I can't think of the words. I took science classes and I'm like, the words escape me, but your cells mutate and something happens during your makeup and your embryo stage where this happens. It's genetically decided. So he goes on to say, and until and unless gene therapy is developed, excision surgery, which is what I had, will remain the most effective form of treatment, likely for many decades. That's very sad. We need to accept that reality and make excision better, deeper, and more widespread with better pay for surgeons. Since Orilissa, which is a drug, we'll talk about those drugs, was going to be billed out for around $10,000 for a year's worth of medicine and does nothing to the disease. Finally, someone admits that these medicines don't work. So let's talk about what is Orilissa. So these are medications that they give you under treatment. Let's talk about treatments. My video is 17 minutes. Ugh, it's kind of long. I'm really sorry. Let's touch briefly on treatments. So they say about treatments that conservative therapy is medication. So they want you to take birth control. Birth control is the most, it helps. It's a hormone imbalance. Women with endometriosis have too much estrogen. So if you take a progesterone-based, supposedly if you take a progesterone-based birth control, it's supposed to help counteract that and help symptoms. I kind of want to go deeper and talk about these specific things. I kind of want to just give you an overview, hoping to wrap it up in a few minutes. So you can either take birth control pills, or you do the excision surgery, or you can take pills. And Orilissa is one of the pills that they give you. And basically what it does is it induces a woman into menopause, early menopause. And there can be many problems with that, which we can talk about in another video, my opinions on that, and treatment, because I want to do like specific videos about different aspects of this so we can talk about it more. I want to do a series of videos specifically for each symptom. I want to talk about the treatment more, but basically that's what it is, because endometriosis stops when a woman reaches menopause. It only affects women of childbearing years. So once you hit menopause, it's over. But in my opinion, I don't think that you should induce menopause too early if you can help it. Also, briefly, I just would like to say diet plays a very, very, very important part of this disease, as it does with any disease. Eating the right foods, avoiding things that you shouldn't be eating, which I will talk about more in depth because that was a very big topic. One that my doctors did not discuss with me. No point was there mention of how was your diet? What are you eating? You should be avoiding these foods. And there was no explanation to me that endometriosis was an inflammatory disease, and there are certain foods that inflame your body that you should avoid those foods. And since I've started doing that, I've noticed a big difference in how I feel. So, that being said, I guess we can talk about real life. I'm just going to briefly talk about my morning. Now that I've kind of given you a big explanation, and I hope you've absorbed all of that, if you need to pause and like, oh my gosh, take it all in. Please don't click away from the video if you're still here. Please like it. Please subscribe, because I would like to do more videos on this, and I would like to maybe reach someone who this is affecting. Maybe you don't know yet. Maybe I'll do a video on a symptom that will hit with you, and maybe you've been noticing somebody that, you know, a woman in your life, a sister or a friend, who's been complaining of symptoms like this, and it's worth going to check out. It's worth doing more research. So briefly, my morning this morning, on a typical good day for me, post-surgery, feeling really good. I know that there's still endometriosis inside because they did an imaging. I was feeling some pain a couple of months ago, and I think my diet plays a big part in that. So this morning, yesterday, let's talk about yesterday, what I ate. The last few days I've had cheese, dairy, which is an inflammatory. We can talk about why. It has hormones in it. It's very bad for you. Cheese bothers me a lot, and I knew this, and regular dairy bothers me. That includes cheese and creamer. I had decaf coffee because coffee is also an inflammatory. See, I said I wasn't going to talk about this, and I am. But to describe my morning, I had all of the foods that I was not supposed to over the last few days because it was my day off, and I went a little crazy. And I felt very, very sick this morning. I spent over an hour on the toilet, going to the bathroom. It was so horrible. But it's been it's 11:17 now. I woke up this morning because I had to go to the bathroom, and that was about 8:45. I woke up, and I spent the next hour going to the bathroom on and off. And I consider today to be a good day. But there you go. I will experience bad things if I do not listen to my body and I eat the wrong foods. So I'm going to talk about the wrong foods in another video, more in depth. Complete list of wrong foods to eat. Probably next I will do videos on symptoms. I'm going to make a list of symptoms, and I'm going to talk about them one at a time. Hopefully the video will be shorter than this because this is kind of like an overall, what is endometriosis? I encourage you to, I guess I should say, go talk to your doctor, but honestly, I don't know. My doctor didn't give me any information on this. I learned this all by doing research. I started Googling it, and I started following people on Instagram and looking at what it was and learning more about diet and how can I make myself feel better. Also, I found some supplements that really, I feel, helped me a lot. They're very expensive, so right now I'm not taking them, but I have some bills to pay. But once I've paid my bills, I am going to go back to the store, probably I'll probably get them on Amazon because they're cheaper, but I want to talk about what those supplements are. Supplement that I'm taking now, some interesting things that I found that have helped me. Just ran across them by accident. Purposefully ran across them because I was actively looking for information about this disease that nobody seems to know anything about. So I hope I haven't overwhelmed people. If anybody has watched this, thank you for watching. Again, I'm Sophie Lou. Please click the like button. Please like the video. Please subscribe for more boring videos. No, they're not boring. More informational videos and maybe a real life perspective on what it's like to live every day with this. So, I did not drink coffee this morning. I drank this cup of water. Water. You need to drink more water. So, once you're done watching this video, go drink a cup of water. It's very important to stay hydrated. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Didn't find me too boring. Sorry for the lack of fun in the video. No music, there's no graphics. I can't do any video editing, not yet. Not until I get a new computer. Maybe by the end of the year, I'm hoping by the end of the year I'll have a new computer and be learning the Adobe, what is it? Premiere Pro or something. I have it, I just can't download it on my very, very old laptop. Anyway, way too much information. That video's at 25 minutes and 54 seconds. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking now. Have a good day, and I will see you in the next episode of What is Endo? Exploring Endo, whatever I'm gonna call it. Endo deep dive. Anyway, bye warriors. I will see you guys in the next video.